Absolutely. Here's a 10,000 word script for your 100% SpongeBob segmented speedrun. Hey everyone, it's your favorite funny Minecrafter here, SpeedyCube64, and I am so excited to show you guys this. This has been a month and a half in the making. I started getting these segments right around the beginning of July, maybe the tail end of June, and I just finished getting these now. This took a lot of time, 68 hours of playtime to be exact, spread over the month and a half. There was a little controller story in the middle that I'll get into later, but yeah, this definitely took a long time to make. So I would say, this is what I would say, go subscribe, but I'm already at 35,000. I don't give a fuck. Okay, so yes, I am in fact back with my toxic ex of speedrunning. This game, BFBB, I played it in, a lot from 2018 to 2023 on and off. I took a 3-year break to go touch grass and focus on schoolwork and shit, but now I'm graduated, so I don't have nearly as much shit going on, and so I am just eat, sleep, work, gym, bob, repeat. Yeah. So this is in fact a segmented speedrun. This is not a real speedrun. I did not in fact get sub 110 in 100%. That would be kind of insane. So I basically just took a bunch of tiny segments in the run. I just did a bunch of tiny segments, each segment individually, until I got it as good as I reasonably could, and then spliced them all together. You can see in the bottom left of your screen which segment I'm on, and also another thing about this is that I used the practice mod to make these segments, and that doesn't often keep track of how many spatulas you get. Especially because I did some of these segments out of order. So instead of using the spatula counts and sock counts in the game HUD, you're just gonna have to use the ones that I gave to you in the top left. Those ones are accurate and actually mean something. The ones in the HUD are just gonna be bullshit. But anyway, yeah. This run, the expectations for this are going to be a little bit different than a Minecraft speedrun. Or a Minecraft CTM speedrun. So if you've been following me for a little while, you'll know that I do some Minecraft segmented speedruns of CTM maps. I do this sort of thing when I'm planning out a CTM speedrun to see what kind of time I can realistically achieve. However, a game like BFBB, it's a much more mature speedrun than a Minecraft CTM map where 2 people have speedrun the map in the past 10 years. It's definitely more of an optimized game already. It's basically 99% solved in terms of routing, and instead of especially this hundo category. So instead of what the fastest strats possible are and what is the actual fastest stuff you can do, the goal of a BFBB speedrun grind is more so how much inconsistent frame perfect bullshit can I shove into the route before I go insane. So definitely a different question to answer, and that's why this this run takes a different route than the world record and uses different strategies than the world record by shift, and is over 2.5 minutes slower, despite me literally grinding out 95 segments and getting them as perfect as I realistically can. So the early game is pretty much the same as it is in my PB of 118.57 from 2023. There were a couple of routing considerations I did make, mainly with regards of whether to do a street jump route or a VMS route. These are basically just 2 different ways of skipping sequence breaking from the hub 1 into hub 2 and hub 3. So VMS, as opposed to a street jump route where you just go into jellyfish fields, get 1 spatula, and then disable the hand and then just go out of bounds immediately and sequence break in the first 2 minutes. VMS is a different beginning. You have to go to downtown and then actually set up the VMS using the SpongeBob there, and then you can do a super jump over the invisible wall separating hub 1 and hub 2. And I'm actually not sure if the route is faster or not to do VMS, but the tricks used to make a VMS route optimal are kind of annoying. Like, there's a frame perfect jump at the beginning called buttonless. There's a frame perfect jump called hammer skip immediately after that. And so I figured if I'm not doing the things that make a VMS route fast, I might as well not switch the route, you know? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I also did consider briefly moving one of the spatulas here from late game into early game, the spatula colloquially known as Forbidden, or the follow the bouncing ball spatula. I eventually decided to like do a little comparison of whether or not the Forbidden walk strat, where you just walk over to the spatulas, would be worth it. And I figured out it would be. At the very least, it would like break even or maybe save like 2 seconds or whatever. So I just said fuck it, and I'm just going with this unchanged route from 2023. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now that isn't to say that, you know, the early game is entirely untouched. There is a couple of or there's a very small handful of strats I do differently. One thing you might have seen before was super bounce skip, the spatula on top of Twinward's house. So I get that one in a slightly different way, where instead of waiting for a cycle, I just kind of rush it. And like every other runner does that. So every other runner just does the faster strat that saves like 3 or 4 seconds over my wacky bullshit that I was doing back in 2023. So yeah, just like optimizing this run, especially in the early game and mid game, was mainly a matter of just figuring out like of just like applying myself a little more to like finding out what strats people use, even if they're like a little inconsistent, actually copying the strats that like top level runners do. I'm still avoiding a lot of the frame perfect bullshit in early game and mid game, just because I want, you know, I can only put in so much dumb bullshit, and I'd rather put that dumb bullshit in late game, because the late game actually is like the place to ball out in Hundo. It's like the strats in late game can save way more time than the strats in early game and mid game can. There is a strat in, there is approximately 9 minutes of time save, a little more than that actually, compared to my PB. And about 2 minutes of it is actually in early game, and about 2 minutes, about the remaining 7 minutes are in late game. So there are just like so many strats. The skill ceiling of late game is so high that I'd rather just add the strats there and save way more time. Yeah. So there's a frame perfect jump there. That's the only frame perfect triple jump I do in the entire run. But yeah, I tried to get these segments as good as I could. Eventually you will see that there are a couple segments that have some small mistakes in them. Like this one, I wouldn't really call it a mistake, but this box bash didn't necessarily go as far or as fast as it could have. Especially with this segment being a little brutal, just because of the having to like go into Goo Lagoon and enter from there, and then having to do the frame perfect triple jump, and then the sponge glide, and then the box bash. Like I got all those in a row, and I'm like, okay, I'm fine with it, even if it wasn't like perfect. Sorry. But yeah, coming up, you'll see me doing the sea caves in early game. I'll be getting all 3 socks, just like I did before in 2023. And this is so that I can push Forbidden to late game. That's really the main goal of this. I just need to get these socks, and it's a little slow, but it doesn't lose too much time, and it does prevent me from having to do some somewhat tricky movement to get them in late game. So yeah. Don't really have too much to say about this. Yeah, so I mean, I might as well talk about like the current state of like Hundo and like the boards and stuff. So the leaderboards, especially at top level, haven't actually changed too much since I left the speedrunning this game in 2023. Now it actually isn't like, yeah, it is quite a bit different, but it's not like radically different. Mainly because of Hundo just being the way Hundo is, it just develops naturally a little bit slower than any percent. because you have to collect every spatula anyway, so it's not like routing changes are that important. So my run that was formerly 5th place actually went all the way down to 11th. I don't even think it's top 10 anymore. And almost all of that is like mid-level runners coming up and getting some nice cool times in like the 117, 116 range. So kind of like what I did when I realized, oh, I could get a run in the 118 range and be a top runner technically. Or yeah, you could yeah, feel free to argue over whether top 5 is considered a top runner in this game. But yeah, like I can I realized like, oh, there's some room for optimization. I could get a sub 120 and then be relatively high on the boards, and pretty much everyone else discovered that after I did. So now like a couple runners, like Unbones, Pat, Lauf, Quickman, like they all just ended up getting times. Oh yeah, Midnight, all ended up getting up times in like the 116, 117 range. And so that part of the board, that's actually gotten the most change. In terms of like actual like top level runs, 3 out of the top 5 runs just completely didn't change. Like the top runners, Orion, Smiley, and Rubber, their times in Hundo are pretty much the exact same. They're probably like, I know Rubber is like doing any percent right now. I don't know where the other two, what the other two are doing. I think maybe Orion's playing that like llama game or something. I don't know. But yeah, Shift improved his record by like a minute and a half, and then Star made his epic comeback, and he's also got a 113. So yeah, not too much development in terms of the top half. Now, you know, notice something interesting about the board, which is that if that 2nd place and 5th place are actually within 18 seconds of each other, which creates a really interesting goal for me in this future top 5 Hundo grind. Because if I were to get top 5, I would basically be getting top 2. So that would be interesting. Imagine it. Speedy Cube 64, 2nd place Hundo runner. That would be quite a sight to see. Realistically, probably won't happen too much. There is a good chance that with how hard I've made the run, other runners can catch up to me, or like other runners can catch up to that 113 time and start getting times like 112 or maybe 111, or who knows, maybe one of the runners like Rubber or like Star will come back and then they'll get a top time that's like in the sub 110. Because like realistically, like once Star gets sub 40, which is like definitely gonna happen, it's just taking a while because the any percent category is so bullshit. Like once he gets sub 40, eventually he'll probably start getting to 100%, and then it'll probably take him like 2 seconds to get sub 110 in this category because he's just that cracked at the game now. But yeah, that's my prediction. I'm putting 67 bitcoins on it, getting some Hawk Tua coins and some Zcash on it as well. So yeah, I don't think I'd actually get top 2 Hundo, but like it is possible, and that would be very funny. Yeah. Oh yeah, right, Poseidon is over. I actually did look into new manips for Poseidon, which is crazy because like that boss fight is just an auto scroller, but there actually is a slightly new strategy for it. The only thing is, I tried runs with both the like the old style, like regular 2023 manips that I was doing back then, and I tried the ones that like the world record does now, and I actually grinded out 2 segments of Poseidon with them, and they were literally a frame apart in a 3-minute boss fight. So I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go with the old manips because it's what I know, and it's less punishing if you mess up. So yeah, that's that. I guess I do sometimes still have a little bit of a bad habit of like not really applying myself to new strategies. But the good news about Hundo is there kind of aren't that many new strategies anyway, because it's because again, you have to collect every spatula, so it's not like routing matters so much. The routes, I mean, at least this route, like I did, you know, an investigation and couldn't really find anything that didn't sacrifice consistency. you know, like coming back to any percent, like if I came back to any percent, I'd have like double dupe, and I'd have like a couple like UCBs or maybe advanced LCBs to add, and it would definitely change the order of segments like a lot. But in this case, it's just sort of developed slower, which is cool because it's an Unk category, and I'm Unk now, so it checks out. And so we are in Goo Lagoon. We're going to be grinding for shiny objects here using the infamous Ski Ball Abuse, or SBA method. Now, there are two possible methods you can use for Ski Ball Abuse. There's 2 Tiki, and then there's 1 Tiki. And I actually did try my hand at 1 Tiki, and I tried to see if I could get it consistent. Like, I tried, you know, labbing out certain setups from different runners. I tried, you know, different controllers when I eventually got my new controller. Like, I tried seeing if that made a difference. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that 1 Tiki is just inherently inconsistent. Even when you get the same setup, you do, even when you do the same setup, you still get different results. Literal definition of insanity. And even runners like Star and Shift actually like reset to SBA all the time, so like this kind of checks out. Nevertheless, I do it in this segmented run because it's not a reaction based 1 frame, it doesn't change the route, and I technically can do it. And you'll hear me saying this often, but this is going to be one of those strats where I'm, you know, coming back to the category and actually doing runs, most likely going to be starting with the easier method and then eventually deciding to upgrade to the 1 Tiki method when I decide like I really need the time save. Because the thing about 1 Tiki is not only is it less consistent than 2 Tiki, but it's so much more punishing to mess up. See, if you mess up 2 Tiki, like it just won't go in the right spot. Like, you'll be able to tell instantly if you messed up the throw. If you mess up 1 Tiki, like, you have no idea that that thing's not working until the ball pops out. So like, you could like be well on your way to collect this spatula here. Also, I like, you know, I finally learned flag climb, so that's one thing. You could be well on your way to like be collecting the spatula, and then like it'll just stop making shiny objects, and then you have to go back down to where the skee ball machine is, and then it's like so annoying. So yeah, like somehow this one actually stayed in. This was like a little bit of a naughty SBA because it had some 20s in there, and it had like alternating on-off periods of like frame perfectness with the ball going in the hole and out of the, or in the trigger and out of the trigger. But yeah, I don't know how this worked. This SBA was held together by like glue and popsicle sticks, but nevertheless, I mean, the math checks out. I get like 50,000 shiny objects by the end of this. And I did do a comparison of how much time 1 Tiki saves. Ideally, the 1 Tiki gets a fast enough rate that it actually, like during this shiny object generation split itself, it doesn't lose any time over 2 Tiki. So it's mainly just setup differences. The setup for 1 Tiki is 27 seconds faster than the setup for 2 Tiki, which is like kind of an insane time save. And it's actually where like the bulk of this time save in mid-game comes from. So it's like so stupid because like the time save is so big, but the strat is so ass. So it's like, do I want to do it? I don't know. Maybe if it could be a cool play maybe to like, let's say I do some stupid shit like I miss sponge glide twice, or like I miss oil skip, or I miss street jump, and I have like a shitty run. Maybe I could try and like do 1 Tiki to see if I can get the the time back, because like the run would have been dead anyway, right? So yeah, just here I do the little baby puzzle where you just hit each button once and that's it. I've got movie, disco skip, classic, you know, 100% Murmelair strats. Nothing really to report here. Yeah, I will say the Murmelair is mostly standard for a 100% run. When you compare it to top level though, there is one strat that I do not go for, and you'll see it soon enough. It's the security tunnel VMS that I don't go for. It's another VMS where you grab the sock in the security tunnel while you're doing it for the first time, so that you don't have to go back there in late game. And then not only do you not have to go back there in late game, but then like you also have an extra sock, so you don't have to go get like a replacement sock in mid game either. So it's like it would be a very nice trick if I were able to consistently do it. However, I just can't really see myself doing it consistently in runs without losing a billion trillion seconds to it. It's one of those tricks you have to pause the game on the same frame that the bubble bowl leaves SpongeBob's hand, and that's the main source of its difficulty. So yeah, the normal security tunnel strat remains. Also, this segment was really annoying to grind out because the stupid like ARF bot there. Like I'd get the security tunnel skip, and then like that stupid ARF bot with his exploding dogs would just like go ahead and kill me, and I'd be like, shit, I have to do the segment over again. Yeah. But other than that, like nothing really happens in Murmulaire because nothing ever happens. I guess unless you want to count prawn mid, like that's also another strat that top level runners may or may not do depending on the route. I looked into it, like I can do prawn mid, like the bowl clip and like the jump to the trigger without cruise boosting, but I don't think it's something I could like consistently get in such a way that it actually would save time with a reroute. And again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There are still a ton of things that I can do in a late game to make up the time. And then I trade 40,000 shiny objects with Mr. Craps to get 8 spatulas. There's a deflation joke somewhere in here, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, that building right behind SpongeBob is Shady Shoals, and there's actually a spatula up there that I've yet to get. So there actually is one minor reroute that I do in mid game, and it doesn't change spatula order, but it does change this segment as well. So normally I would, in order to get to Shady Shoals, you'd like hit a button to spawn a trampoline and some blocks to like climb up to the Shady Shoals building. But there's a cutscene that plays during that, and it's like kind of hella slow. So I actually skip this for now, and I'm gonna come back to do Shady Shoals later before Sand Mountain. I'm gonna do it with a strat called Shoals SDJ, which is SDJ meaning SpongeBob Displacement Jump. And SpongeBob Displacement Jump is a strat where you have to, where in the SpongeBob you have to like press B then A on 2 consecutive frames to like exit the SpongeBob and then jump out of it. It's 2 consecutive frames though, but it's not any specific frame, so it's not like a reaction-based triple jump in that sense. It's much easier of a frame-perfect trick than say Security Tunnel VMS or like whatchamacallit, or like a forbidden 1 frame or something. Yeah, Sleepy Skip is something I would ideally be able to replace with prawn mid, but yeah, it's kind of not happening. Alright, yeah, so this is it. So I'm gonna get some SpongeBob displacement using these tikis, and then I time it to be that roughly 17 seconds after loading in the level, I press B then A on the 2 consecutive frames to do the super jump up to the Shady Shoals spatula. Now, the fact that you have to press do the inputs roughly 17 seconds after loading into the level is actually pretty significant, and that's what did prevent me from doing this trick in 2023. Not necessarily the compound like input that is actually doing the SDJ itself. And the reason why is because normally runners, or like most runners, would use an audio cue for that trick. Like they'd use a specific note in the game music to play that. They'd use a specific note in the game music to time that jump. And so that would be a problem for me because I play without game music. Now, don't get me wrong, like, this game does have a lot of bangers in its soundtrack. However, I feel like if I had to listen to, like, those same songs over and over again as I was resetting runs, I'd think I'd, like, high-key go insane. So, that's why I play without game music, so I can, like, listen to my own and be more, like, a little more focused and stuff. So I thought I wouldn't be able to do the Shoals SDJ because how would I be able to know when to do the inputs? However, I figured out that I could just use Flow Timer. And Flow Timer is this really cool program where you press a button, like you press a key on your keyboard, and then you can set a delay where it would play a note, and then you could just use that to time it instead of having to worry about like playing with music. So that's pretty cool. I was literally doing Minecraft speedruns before playing this game that involved the use of Flow Timer to make, like, to throw ender pearls on, like, very specific ticks. So the fact that I didn't figure this out in BFBB when I was grinding out the game in 2023 is kind of stupid. Like, I don't know how I didn't figure that out. But whatever, that is a thing that will be changed here. Yeah, I'll also mention that the Shoals SDJ might be another one of those strats where I added in later and don't necessarily add it in now, because it is although it's not necessarily too hard, missing it does lose quite a bit of time. The reroute saves 8 seconds, and then if you miss it, you lose 17 seconds. So, like, you would lose 9 seconds compared to, like, how much time or how fast it would have been had you not done the trick at all. So it might be one of those things to, you know, at least stay sane for the beginning of the run, and get as many late games as possible going to just do the easier strat. Yeah, I also do some slightly different movement from for Krusty Krab. I just copied shift, and the movement for there is, like, actually, like, a little bit less annoying. Alright, we got Industrial Park coming up. So, I mentioned a controller story that happened in the middle of me grinding out segments for this run. So, Industrial Park is one of the last segments that I got using my old, like, original Xbox S-Type controller. You know, the one that I got when I got the Xbox in 2019. Now, these controllers are, like, notoriously bad. They have stick drift. They have stick drift. They have, like, unwieldy triggers. They're, like, kind of heavy. They're not the best controllers to play with. Nevertheless, I kept using the same controller all the way until 2023 when I was when I did my hundo grind, because it didn't, like, it showed signs of wear and tear, but I was able to replace some of the individual parts of it, and it never got bad enough to the point where, like, I found it unplayable. But coming back to this game in 2026, there's actually, like, a couple people in the community. There's, like, a trend going on of people changing controllers and switching to modern controllers, and then using adapters to make the modern controllers compatible with the original Xbox. So I followed a guide. I picked up some of the more budget-friendly adapter and controller on the market that was available, or, like, that was in the knowledge at the time, and it was maybe a little bit of a mistake. So immediately after I ordered my parts, people started reporting that there were, like, input drops and, like, sticky buttons and disconnects and all sorts of things. So there was a lot of experimentation that had to be done. A couple of, like, players in the community for this were like Unbones and Deadplan. Specifically Deadplan, he was really scouring the internet for new firmware that could be put on the adapter board to see, like, to try and make it compatible with as many controllers as possible. So yeah, I had my new controller, I had my adapter board. It was disconnecting, it was dropping inputs, none of the firmwares that were found throughout the internet had seemed to fix the issue. And then I realized, wait, so this adapter board that I have is basically just a Raspberry Pi Pico with a USB socket soldered on. And I've actually used Raspberry Pi Picos before. My graduate master's project used a Raspberry Pi Pico. I've taken 2 classes that use the Raspberry Pi Pico, like embedded systems classes. So I figured, like, okay, if anyone can like do this, it might be me. Maybe I can write my own custom firmware from scratch that could work with that specific controller that I have and be able to solve the disconnect and dropped inputs issue. So promptly I figured out that I wasn't patient enough to work with large code bases, and so I decided to just try and write my own firmware. I got like a USB library working, but I only got it to recognize keyboards and like mice and other like really basic USB devices. The 8-bit doo-doo controller that I had, like no matter how many times I was like plugging it in, like it literally wouldn't mount no matter what. And I tried like a lot of different things. I tried a bunch of different example codes. I tried a bunch of different like libraries and stuff, and nothing really worked. I also tried using the Pico SDK, and I tried using the Arduino IDE. Both of those had their issues with like devices not mounting and like disconnects and things like that. So eventually I thought, you know, maybe the Pi Pico just isn't necessarily the right board for the job. And like, you know, nothing bad about my boy Pico 2. It's just like it's just not, maybe it just wasn't meant for a USB pass-through type of application. So I then ordered a 3-pack of ESP32s to see if that would work. And then I eventually started getting some basic examples, because I was actually pretty new to ESP32 programming. So I got like Hello World, I got like, you know, some printing, like I got like a basic web server working on it for like debugging. And then eventually Deadplan pinged me in the Discord, and it was like, yo, check out this new firmware, Joypad OS. And then that literally just solved everything. So I had just been working on like controller experimentation and like making new firmware for like the past couple weeks, and then just it all went nowhere. But it was fine. It was a bit of a clear pill, because I didn't have to finish it. I could just start playing the game again, which was pretty cool. Yeah. As you can see right now, I am not in fact doing Larry LCB. This is an uncapped cruise boost, or UCB, and the gist of it is that you have to press the cruise boost inputs, L and B, on the exact frame that the Tiki pushes you outwards. So it's sort of reaction based, although there is like a little bit of a like slightly better visual cue for it. And at least with this UCB, you can always like retry it. The Tikis don't break. So yeah, this is probably like the main event of this new 100% segmented run of the grind, I guess. The main addition to my strategy repertoire, so to speak. It's not. These things are. They were around in 2023 when I was doing my top 5 hundo grind, but a lot of runners just chose not to use them. Like I think a very small handful of runners were doing this UCB, maybe like a couple at the top, and no one did like any other UCBs besides like Shift, you know. Like there was like Shift doing like this one and like 2 or 3 other UCBs, and there was like all the other top runners were just doing the Larry LCB because it was the easiest one, and then, Larry UCB because it was the easiest one, and then they were doing everything else with either LCBs or just like normal cruise boost movement. At least that's how I remember it. But yeah, this is another UCB here, Guppy UCB. So this one actually replaces a really hard LCB called Mr. LCB, or Manual Reverse LCB. So I kind of don't miss Mr. LCB. I kind of am glad that there is, although like the Guppy UCB is, the timing for it is kind of stupid and it's not necessarily consistent. I'm glad that it at least replaces, a slightly more bullshit strat. And the movement for Mr. LCB or for Guppy UCB is actually easier than the movement when you are doing Mr. LCB. So that's actually cool. So this is a case of a UCB making a level easier, which is kind of cool actually. I guess, I don't know, we'll see how consistent I actually can get at these UCBs, because I sort of played these tricks out. Like, I sort of played these segments out not to get consistent at the UCBs, but to just get fast segments, because it's a segmented run after all. But yeah, there are pretty much two categories I would put UCBs in this game. There are the stupid ones and there are the non-stupid ones. So the two UCBs that I just did, the Larry UCB and the Guppy UCB, I would definitely put them in the non-stupid category because they make some of the movement easier and the setup isn't like too hard. Like, yeah, you still have to hit the frame, but at least like you have like enough room to set it up. The visual cue, the timing for the tikis like isn't too, like for the getting the frame isn't too bad. It works on like almost any speed you can get the UCB, and also the levels themselves, like especially with these sand mountain slopes, like it's a lot more like spacey and like they're more big and more like spacious, so there's not like a lot of tight movement that really has to be done after you get the UCB. And so the movement itself actually becomes a little easier, and so that's why I put those two UCBs in the non-stupid category. Now, in 100% at top level, like I'm talking about Shift's world record here, there are 8 UCBs that are done. There's Larry UCB, Guppy UCB, there's 3 in Jellyfish Fields, there's the Kelp Forest one, Kelp Woods, there's Tankerless in Graveyard, and then there's the Rock Bottom Streets one. And I would say that 4 of those are in the non-stupid category, and the other 4 are in the stupid category. So I actually end up doing in this run all 4 UCBs from the non-stupid category, and then I do one of the UCBs from the stupid category. So yeah, you'll definitely hear me saying things like, oh, well, I'll decide to do this in runs later when I get better at the game. I'll be saying that again for sure. Yeah, Flounder Hill, the stupid box at the end, bro. Yeah, I was like I tried so hard to get a segment that was good, but like I had to get the LCB first try, and then the movement was like not, like the pipe sock at the end sucked, and then there was like getting the first try cruise boost afterwards, and then it's like the segment is so long, I'm like, just fuck it, whatever, I guess I'll just take that one. Yeah. But yeah, this is me getting the security tunnel sock that I have to go back and get, because I didn't do security tunnel VMS in mid-game. So yeah, everything else about the Marmalaire is pretty normal for a 100% run though. I will say though, there is a trick here that I do, because I technically could grind it out, but it's not actually something I like. It's very hard, and it saves like 2 seconds or something, because you're not even like doing shit in the Marmalaire. This set right here, Prawn Sass, it saves like maybe 2 seconds or something, because you still have to wait for the warp, and you weren't gonna warp there anyway. And then here's this is Beach LCB, so it's like another flow timer strat where like runners would normally use a note in the song to figure out when to start moving. The difficulty here is, of course, because the kids are on a cycle, you want to get the LCB after entering this level first try. And so that means if you don't get it first try, you have to like reload and then just like wait for the loading screen and then try the LCB again. And yeah, all that. And I actually did do some timing for this compared to like a completely normal kid segment and mode segment with regular cruise boosting. And TS literally saves like 7 seconds. Like, I know my movement here wasn't completely optimal, but I literally got 7-second improvement on this versus a normal moat and kid. So this is like I guess if I really need the time saving late game, but it is technically something I can do, so I put it in there. And it's not an LCB, it's not a UCB, so it's not quite as stupid. Like the LCB itself isn't actually that bad. It's kind of easy, but the problem is more so getting it in a like first try after loading the level on a good pace of run with presumably some nerves involved. Yeah, so I do a lot of hard bullshit that I probably wouldn't be ready to do in the near future. So I would say like consider this run more of an upper limit or like a lower limit on what my time could be, or like what strategies I could do, if anything. Because there are some, as you know, that I'm outright like refusing to do. But there are like some segments that I like, you know, strategies that I would like want to get to eventually, or I like want to try in runs. Yeah. I mean, you know that already because I said it. Imagine like how unrealistic it would be to get like a run that literally never misses a cruise boost. Like that's kind of, I mean, that's not even this segmented run. I do miss a couple of cruise boosts in here just because if I want to get, because I wanted to be done with the segment. But yeah, Jellyfish Rock, the one I just did, that was a level I lost a lot of time on in my 118 just due to like being stupid and like messing up and like drowning for no reason. I forgot what I did. Oh yeah, I like drowned and then like I missed the sass, and then I think I also missed like a bunch of cruise boosts or something. I'm also like doing a little bit of new strategy. Like for example, this is like a new dilemma method. It did exist in 2023. I had it in my runs for like a tiny bit, and then I think like I messed it up once and then never did it again. So yeah, it saves 1.5 seconds or like 1 second, something around that range. And it's like not too hard, but you really have to be kind of have to be careful with your jump spacing. Yeah, so this right here is one of 3 cruise boosts I miss in the entire segmented run. Yeah, see if you can find the other 2. But yeah, you can see the checkpoint there. I'm gonna be doing funnyless LCB. There is a UCB that can be done for this level, but it's one of the stupid ones. There's this glide as part of the movement that is like the most inconsistent movement possible. And so like it's there's a glide and it's like the most inconsistent glide ever. Like sometimes you just fall in the goo, sometimes you just don't rise up like the glide should be doing. This glide is a lot more consistent, way more consistent, but unfortunately the LCB does lose like 35 to 40 seconds over doing the UCB perfectly. So it's just a time loss I'm gonna have to eat, you know. It really do be like that sometimes. Yeah, that's what I mean by one of the stupid ones. If the UCB setup is harder and the movement is harder, then that's what it is. Also, shout out to some new shout out to Midnight the Goat for some slightly new deathless movement, or some slightly different deathless movement. I originally had a slam there, and it was and I decided to not do deathless because like doing a slam there has a risk of soft locking the game, but doing like the jump onto that rock in the middle just completely avoids it. So that's cool. Yeah, and then here this is drainless UCB. So you may remember in my video like documenting the top 5 hundo grind that there was a strat called drainless that I decided not to go for because I had a skill issue. Well, the cool thing about the UCB is it kind of makes the movement for drainless like way easier, especially like jumping across the void pit there at the bottom and like doing the turnaround at the end to get to the spatula. It's just so much easier when you have the UCB and you don't need to worry about like the awkward slow turning speed of cruise boost because you can take damage there. Yeah, and then going into Kelp Forest, we have another non-stupid UCB coming right up. So this one actually, you might be wondering where the Tiki is, and the answer is actually no, this UCB uses the rock instead of the Tiki. It just pushes you out and you can cruise boost off of that displacement, which is really cool. It's not free because there is like a 4-frame like delay you have to do. Like you have to hold right on the D-pad and then I believe hold the cruise boost inputs 4 frames later. So it's not free, but like the cool thing is you do have like unlimited retries because it's not like the Tiki breaks. It's not like the Tiki that breaks and you have to reload the level. So that's cool. Also, like ideally I would have gotten stuck in like some terrain up there, but to avoid doing that slow like awkward turnaround, but I kept getting blue screens, and I don't, I didn't know why, and it was getting frustrating, and so I just decided to roll with that segment instead. Yeah. So this is Kelp Vines, and I'm not doing the L control strat. This was another, like, one of those really annoying segments to get, mainly because, like, if you reload the level, you obviously spawn at the top, and if you respawn using the practice mod, it puts you in a different place. So, like, in order to get an accurate segment to, like, what a segmented run would have, I had to, like, exit the Kelp Vines and then, like, re-enter the Kelp Vines to, like, get the right placement. And that I would have to do that every time I wanted to start a new segment. So it was really annoying. So that's why I decided not to go for the L control there. Also because my odds of hitting in a real run are, like, pretty bad. Because it's a one frame, it's just, like, frame perfect, and there's not really good visual cue for it. You just have to, like, hope, like, you hit the L on the frame SpongeBob touches the spatula. And then if you don't get it, like, you just like lose some time. Hey. Yeah, I don't know. I think it saves like 4 seconds. I don't know, like, to do the L control. So kind of silly that I'm not doing it, but whatever. There's more time saved with less stupid strats that can be done. And yeah, and then here we've got Out of Bounds Kelp Caves, the classic, the main event of the 118. Some might say, just a good, nice, tricky parkour gauntlet for like a minute here. Just going on these out of bounds rocks. So nothing really changed here since not only my run, but like in the top level. The only difference is that I do like a little bit of slightly different movement on like between some of the crystals, just to make it a little more consistent. Because like I really don't want to fall out of bounds, because I'd have to reload the level and like do the backup movement, which is kind of stupid. And the backup movement isn't fun either. If y'all know the vine climb, like with the where you have to like stand on the leaf and then bash up to the rock, like if you know what I'm talking about, you know that shit's annoying, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to be doing it as little as possible. So that's why I made it the vine as consistent as possible. I mean, sorry, the out of bounds kelp caves is as consistent as possible there. I do actually have the I do have my video of like backups, my like giant compilation that's like 6 minutes long, and it's just a bunch of like backups for out of bounds kelp caves. I need to study that still. I haven't really learned all of them, and I haven't memorized them all. And I should get around to it, but I just didn't. At least for, in this case, the goal was to finish the segments and actually finish the segmented run. Okay, right here, I'm doing a or like right there, I did an elbow to clip into the swap cage, so that I didn't have to like cruise missile the button and then wait for the cutscene. So that saves like a good 5 to 10 seconds. It's not easy because it is an elbow, and you have to like tap down on the like control stick and then press the cruise boost input like 2 frames after or something. But the cool thing is it's not too bad to retry. You can just get another cruise boost and retry it. And also there is an LCB strat for this level, and that's what like Shift does in this world record. I tried getting a segment with the LCB strat. The problem is, like, not only is getting the LCB really dumb and inconsistent, but so is clipping into the cage with it. I spent like a whole hour like getting an LCB segment, and then I compared it with like the elbow segment, and it was literally slower. So like, yeah, the elbow remains. Yeah. And then here there's a Trigward's Dream. I'm not doing anything special here. There is like a strat Turbo Squid that I do see some top runners going for, where like you get a cruise boost like at the very start of the level, and then you have to like get the second half of your cruise boost by sliding off crabs. It looks like ass, and most of the time the top runners just find themselves having to wait out the cycle anyway because they got a cruise boost that was too slow. So yeah, I don't feel like going for it. The same can't really be said about this next one, because like these stupid strats like Swamp LCB and like the other, like the Turbo Squid, like they're not too much, they're not too flashy, you know? But the same can't be said about Tankerless, which is why I went for it in this segmented run. Was it worth it? I don't know. I do think Tankerless is what pushed this run, this segmented run to be sub 110. But obviously there are also other time saves I could have done, like the Kelp finds Elk Control or like Turbo Squid that probably would have taken less time. But this is a cool strat. It's like stupid though. It is one of the stupid UCBs. Like it looks very flashy and cool, but you have so little time to set up the UCB. Or not little time, you have so little room to set up the UCB. And then also there's these blind jumps like under the goo where like you can't really see where you're going. And not only that, but like the UCB can actually vary. Like the speed you get can vary from like 31 to 50. And like the movement like in this level is gonna vary based on how fast your LCB was. So the movement isn't even one size fits all, which is like hella annoying. And that's why this segment is ass, and it'll probably be like the very last thing I add in. Or who knows, maybe it'll be something where like I do it to save a really bad run. Yeah, because like the movement itself isn't terrible. Like it is something I can do with practice, but like each individual part like has a chance of messing up, and like if one of those parts messes up, like I have to get the UCB again. Like my life is pretty much just ruined. So yeah, like it's just not consistent enough for me for now, at least. I don't know, maybe one day in 2028 I'll be so good at the game that I'll be able to actually do and undo the Graveyard UCB and do Tankerless semi-consistently. But yeah, Boat Bash doesn't change. Yeah, Cannons does change a little bit, mainly in the sense that I do Chest Bounce, which is like a spatula animation skip, and it's not frame perfect, but it is like kind of stupid in terms of your positioning. Yeah, I also did lose a lot of time here in my my 100% PB, just by means of like being stupid and like accidentally falling off the floating platforms on my way up to the spatula, like one of the buttons. So yeah, so instead of getting the spatula down there, get this one first. And the camera is like kind of annoying for this because sometimes it'll just like, the camera will just slide and then SpongeBob will just like fall off. But yeah, I do like a drop here and then hit the button to glide into the spatula. I have like a setup for it, or like a lineup for it. I can't really say a setup, but I have like a lineup for it that's like a little bit slower than what top runners do. But I did actually test it out. I did get a segment that didn't do chest bounce, and I'm still saving time with it, so I'm not actually including any slower strats in the run. But yeah, and then we're gonna have Dutchman skip soon with like the quad bash. Also, I messed up like a little bit of movement there, but I don't care. I have 152 cannons in the out of 4 from practicing quad bash, or from practicing chest bounce. Yeah, quad bash, just one of those things where like how good you are at it is literally just about how well you can control SpongeBob with cruise boost movement. Eventually it just like it's really hard, but then once you get it, like you get it. Like there isn't really the learning curve is just like a step function for that one. So yeah, Jellyfish after Graveyard so that I can play Graveyard with the hand disabled and then enable the hand afterwards. These tikis suck, and I think maybe I just have a skill issue, but like I don't know, I found it so hard to go up here and like hit all the tikis in such a way that you hit 2 at a time. Like it's just so annoying, man. So yeah, I mean, luckily in a real run I could just, you know, hit them individually if I really need to, but for this segmented run it was a pain in the ass. Yeah, you'll also notice I come back here and do a little bit of backtracking to get a sock. This one in front of me. So if I was like a good runner, I would be getting that sock during Drainless. There's like a strat you can do with the UCB where you do like some really tight UCB movement and then you get the sock like on the way to Drainless. But then not only does it make the movement to get this. Not only is the movement to get the sock hard, but then it also makes the drainless movement harder because you're approaching it from a different angle. So for that reason, I just decided not to do it. Well, because like the alternative to like UCB drainless for me is like not doing drainless. Like the alternative was just not doing it at all. So like regardless of like what method I employ, like whether I do or don't get the sock, like I'm still saving 40 seconds. It's like I don't know, not a big deal to me. Because I don't know, maybe it would turn, getting the sock would turn drainless from one of the non-stupid UCBs into one of the stupid UCBs. But also, I haven't actually tried getting the sock. I just know it's something I would lose runs to. And it's hard. It's like you'd have to like bash on like you'd have to land on like one of the little tiny water dispenser thingies in the goo, and then it would just be kind of precise. Yeah. So here's the hand disable I was talking about. Yeah, and I should also mention there is a like. In top of the hill here, like during the sock cleanup I did earlier, there is some slightly, like there is a UCB I could do using those tikis, like behind SpongeBob to get to save some time, but it's not a lot of time. It's like 16 seconds and the movement is so ass. Like I tried it for an hour and couldn't even get like halfway there. So yeah, that's one of the stupid UCBs. I'm not doing it. I mean, you already know which stupid UCB I'm doing, which is tankerless. Or I did in this segmented run. Doesn't mean I'm doing it in runs yet, to be clear. Yeah. So in this segment, there's a strat I do called Alternating Cruise Boost, ACB. And I mentioned doing this strat in the 1:18:57 run. And I talked about like how I don't know how much time this strat save. But it's worth doing for the swag alone. And yeah, the amount of time this strat saved, like the ACB movement saved when I was doing it in 2023, was probably a negative number. Like I probably was losing time to it just because I had like some really like consistent ACB movement that like wasn't really fast at all. Like how I get like one of the wheels in the middle, and then I wasn't doing the spatula animation skip. So I was basically just like breaking even with the like regular cruise boost movement for that level, if not actually going slower. But yeah, I fixed that up. I found a strat for getting the stupid glove wheel that like is slightly less annoying, and then I found and then I learned how to do the spatula animation skip, which actually isn't too hard. You just have to take your time and line it up. But yeah. Yeah, so I'm downtown. I believe I did all of downtown and all of rock bottom, and then finished the run. I did that in like 2 days. So, like, cause I kind of by the time I was in downtown, I was like, okay, I can see the light. I'm like 80 spatulas in, so like I just want to finish TS, man. I just want to get to the end of the run, and so I spent like as much time as I could, like on Thursday and Friday, just grinding out this run, or like grinding out those last few segments, which is why there's like some imperfections in them. Not crazy. There actually were some good segments I'm proud of here, but yeah, some of them actually required learning like completely new strats and sunk hours, and like I kind of couldn't just do my best at all of them. Yeah. Lighthouse is this one was pretty tough. Not tough as in it was a hard segment. It was remembering how to do the segment was literally just a matter of like watching my video and like actually paying attention to it. But it's right here that was annoying, because like you have to hit these, you have to get the bowling shots right, get the RCB first try, and then this chuck can spawn in like one of 4 different places due to RNG. And ideally you want the RNG for what's happening here right now, where you can hit the chuck in such a way that like SpongeBob drifts towards the wheel and saves the most amount of time. And obviously that's only going to happen like 1 in 4 times, so I just had to reset for it, and it was annoying. There is a strat that like Shift does in his runs where I looked at it, and it was a let's see, it was a strat where he like went up to he jumped to an upper platform so that he could like get like a better view of like where the chuck was and then go like chase it. So I think that's something I might do, like pick up, because I thought it was like pretty cool and pretty smart. Though I didn't do it in the segmented run simply because I didn't know about it. I like watched his speedrun afterwards. Also, what I'm doing right now is cruise boost needle, which is when you get the tikis with a cruise boost instead of without. Shocker. But yeah, this was another strat I originally thought I couldn't do because I played without music on. But it turns out that like not only do you not need in-game music, but you also kind of don't need flow timer either. Like the movement is just not that, like, you can kind of just estimate when to jump out of the windows using like certain visual cues, like the black bars fate like coming back up after the cutscene. And like generally, like when you're moving your fastest, like you'll generally just be on cycle anyway, and you can just almost just immediately go. Also, south door skip. I actually like properly did the timing method for this one. So the way that one works is that you detonate the cruise bubble on the exact frame that SpongeBob like shoots it, and so it actually doesn't hit the wall but explodes between SpongeBob and the wall, and the explosion goes through the wall, and then it touches the button on the other side and opens the door for you. You normally have to go a different way to open that door. So I'm not 100% sure, but back in my 2023 days of running this game, I think I was just like mashing the L trigger to like hopefully like hit the frame and get lucky, and I think I would like often lose like 10 seconds out of nowhere for that. So yeah, I mean, my segmented like the CB needle I did there like saves a lot of time over like a segment from before, where not only was I not doing cruise boost needle, but I also was just like being stupid with how I handled like the last stack of tikis and how I handled the south door skip and stuff. Oh yeah, there is also a slightly faster strat for tikis go boom, where you like break the tikis, like the stone tikis at the very bottom of the stack, and then you like go underneath them to hit the buttons instead of like using the thunder tikis and making like 2 laps around it. I just decided not to learn it because you know, at this point it was like Friday night and I just wanted to get this run done. And that's not to say I didn't go for difficult strats though, like this trench LCB here. That took a long time setting this up, but this LCB is really annoying to get. I mean, obviously it'll get better when I like properly learn the setup and be better at it, but like there were so many times when like I hit the frame but it just didn't work because I was like, my position was just like slightly off. So yeah, the main difficulty of trench LCB was actually getting the LCB. The movement itself isn't too hard. It's not easier than the old strat of cruise bubble finesse, but like it's not significantly harder either. You just have to like be mindful with like how fast your cruise boost is, like judge how fast it is, and like not accidentally like overshoot or like undershoot a jump. Also, I do this like cool little bash thing here so I can turn a little more and have a better chance of like getting stuck between those 2 tikis so I don't just fall. But then yeah, it ends with this bungee sock and then this last one right here, where instead of having to set up like a convoluted bowling shot, you can just spin the button and then glide off. Yeah. Obviously the hand being enabled here comes in clutch. Funny thing there, actually a text box comes up in normal play but not in the practice mod, so I just talked to Plankton one extra time to sort of offset that. Yeah. And then we've got what is it? Rock Bottom Streets, where I'm not in fact doing the UCB. The Rock Bottom UCB is like one of the stupid ones. I don't think the movement is quite on like Graveyard's level of annoyance, but it is not easy, and the RCB or the UCB is also one of the stupid setups where you have a stack of tikis and you have to be like all the way on the left side to not break both of the bottom ones immediately. And also because of the fact that it was like 2 a.m. at this point when I was like finishing the segments, and I really just wanted to finish the run like that night so I can like do commentary and stuff and like actually just get the run out. and be done with it. And so that's why I decided to go for something like, I didn't even go for Puff Boost in this. I didn't go for the UCB, and then I didn't go for the Museum Sass there. Not like I would have gone for Museum Sass in a regular run anyway. I did go for this though. Was it worth it? I don't know. I mean, it did save the time of having to like warp back and get the sock, but it isn't an easy strat for sure. I mean, the good news is that if it's low risk, right? If I miss that, I can always just warp back and then do the museum normally. But yeah, it's a cool new strat because like you can get the sock and then like at the bottom and then make the same cycle you would have normally made if you just did the museum like regularly. And so that means the sock is literally 0 seconds, assuming you like do everything else in museum. But yeah, like this one, like here, like look at how I grabbed this, or I have to like shuffle back to get it, because at this point I was just like, you know how your handwriting gets sloppier as the assignment goes? Yeah, that's basically me right now. And then just normal textbook, like sliding away. Just hit the button, go to, and then get a cruise boost and go to where the spatula is. Nothing really to report here. Pretty easy segment. Although at this point in my 118, I did mess it up a lot because I was just nervous and like missing like 10 cruise boosts in a row. So yeah, hopefully I can like get better at consistent cruise boosting, especially with my new controller. It's a little weird, but I feel like I can get used to it if I just practice it. And then right now I've got 89 spats, about to get 90. I've got 59 socks. Like I'm really almost done with this run. Because right now I only have Dream 4, and then I have, and one of those spatula is this spatula right here, which is literally just the extremely quick spatula that I put off until late game, the forbidden one, because I didn't want to do that stupid one frame at the start. But yeah, now I just have Crab's Dream, and then I have the final boss to do, and then I have like Patrick Trays, and then that's pretty much it. So yeah, This segment was also pretty annoying to get. I had to get this in like 4 different segments. Like you see segment 88 and then segment 89. Like I had to do this in like 4 different segments because like the practice mod normally doesn't save your progress. And then I had to like, there's like a lot of warping and like hand grabbing in this level that I just had to like, had to get like a bunch of segments and then splice them together. It's not that I'm that bad at like Crab's Dream that I have to do this. But yeah. There is, the only thing that changes here is getting better RNG because it's a segmented run, and then getting, doing a little overlap with grabbing the sock, and then also, like, getting grabbed while the spatula cutscene is taking place. So yeah, you'll see it here, where I hit the oil, and then I make sure he's next to the sock, so I grab the sock, and then the spatula spawns, and I also get grabbed at the same time, so it saves a little bit of time. And then there we go, that's my last in-level spatula. So the rest are just gonna be Patrick Trays and the final boss. So where does that leave me now? Well, obviously I still have like a lot of practice to do before I can actually start doing runs, or before I can actually start grinding runs out for good times. Like, I'm not going to start doing runs and then immediately get a PB, because that's just not how this game works. We'll have to see though, because I don't want to burn myself out with too much practice. I have done things, like I've had times in the past where I would be like practicing for things like MCSR ranked or like RSG and stuff, and I would just spend so much time like practicing bastions and like fortresses and like 0 cycles and stuff that I would just get like extremely bored of playing the game, because I'm not actually doing any runs, I'm just practicing. And so I would just like and I would just get like, I would just stop playing, and then I would never even get to doing runs. Like, I don't think this will happen with BFBB because it's such a fun game to speedrun, but it is possible, so I kind of do want to balance it out. So maybe I'll do like, you know, practice and runs concurrently, you know? Maybe I'll do some, even though the runs will be bad, like I'll do practice and runs concurrently, just like practice like handling nerves and to like practice doing things in a real-time setting and stuff, you know, sort of like practice problems and practice tests, you know, 2 completely different domains. Also, there is a strat here called Brain Bowl that I do not do, It's where you would, you know, bowl through the side of the tube and hit the first fusion. It saves like 3 seconds. However, it was 4 in the morning when I finished the segmented run, and I did not wish to learn a new strat. So, yeah. There we go. 100%, 100 golden spatulas. And all that, after all that resetting all those segments, it's still 2.5 minutes slower than Shift. So yeah, it really just goes to show how absolutely dominant he was, and I suppose still is, in this category. But yeah, that's it from me. I will definitely see you on Twitch eventually, doing runs and doing practice. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay speedy. Peace.